Dear viewers, due to continuous rise in the number of COVID cases and the fears of a new wave, we are forced to switch the program to voiceover mode for a few days. As soon as the situation gets back to normal, we'll be back with the original format of the program. Thank you for your cooperation. Hello and welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja Dwivedi and today we are going to discuss a very important topic, a very needed topic, the ailments and solutions to the online gaming industry. This topic is very important from the perspective of prelims, also from the perspective of GS Mains paper 2 and 3 and 4 as well. So let's begin with the first topic, why is it in the news? Now Madhya Pradesh Home Minister has said on Thursday that the state government will bring an act to regulate online games. That has happened because of an 11-year-old boy allegedly committed suicide by hanging himself in Bhopal due to his addiction to an online mobile gaming. So he already spent a lot of approximately 6,000 rupees when making in-app purchases. And because of that, what has happened, his parents were reprimanding him. And after a certain time, because of maybe this is the issue has been that because of the reprimand, he committed suicide by hanging himself. So online gaming addiction is something that we should be worried about. If we talk about online gaming industry in India, Boston Consulting Group and Sequoia India, this report stated, this is a November 2021 report, that Indian gaming industry is although minuscule, only 1% compared to the global gaming industry. But still it is a lot. Now, currently, the mobile gaming market stands at around $1.5 billion in revenue, but it is expected to touch $5 billion revenue in 2025. Now, that means a lot of contribution to the GDP by the new startups with respect to online gaming industry. The IT sector has been done by this itself. The gaming industry in India has seen a growth of almost 40% in 2019 to 20, and more than that of OTT, television, and social media platform. Basically, OTTs are what? Like Netflix, Prime, everything is counted under OTT. And 86% of the market, it consists of mobile phone users. Now, 2 to 3 things we can deduce from here. First, digital penetration has become much more outreaching first. Secondly, if we talk about the number of users of mobile, they have increased. That might be because India is developing and it is getting digitally literate. And also because of the COVID, since 2020, more and more digital penetration is seen. So there are certain concerns about bringing a law. Why should we bring a law? What is the need? What is the concern? First, of course, because of the proliferation and expansion of digital media, because of the pandemic-induced lockdowns, children are much more engaging from the online mode, specifically for interacting, for social engagement with their friends, for studies. So it's actually touching every facet of their life. Also, there is a lack of physical proximity for physical games because of physical distancing. So, children, in order to pass their time, parents also, in order to pass their time, let their children use online platforms. And also, many a times happens that suppose somebody, many big businessmen, if they want to launder their money, they can resort to online gambling and betting through poker, rummy. So, these are the concerns which need to be regulated. So, there is a dilemma of bringing a law. First, let's know about a bit of the background. Now, video games were actually hauled up during their infancy. That was the development was not a lot. It was an infant development in 1990s. When the US senators, they pulled up the industry in congressional hearings for realistic depictions of graphic violence and exposing youngsters to them. Basically, if any game is desensitizing the youth in a virtual mode, it can do so in the real world as well. The lines are getting blurred more and more. Also because of the introduction of metaverse. That is also something. If it looks okay in the virtual world, it will look okay in the real world as well. In 2018, the World Health Organization classified gaming addiction as a mental health disorder, with an emphasis on what exposure to video games might do to young people. China has enacted new laws to curb video game addiction, specifically in the COVID eras among the youngsters, and now gamers under the age of 18 will be banned from playing games from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Similar laws have been enacted to protect minors in countries like South Korea and Japan, where users are logged out of online games at particular hours or given warnings about them. A 2019 report by the Children's Commissioner of the UK, children aged 10 to 16 were surveyed, and that is regarding the monetization option in video game. That means if they have to make some purchases in the app for any sort of thing like customizing their characters, getting dresses for them, purchasing loot box. So the respondents then replied that video games are an important social activity which helps them to make friends and develop friendships beyond their age group. But the downside is that the players face enormous peer pressure to make purchases in order to have this makeup in front of their friends that they are rich too. They are also able to purchase things in the game. So countries like Japan and Belgium have actually outlawed these in-game purchases. China requires more transparency on loot boxes, requiring companies to disclose all possible rewards that users could get along with probability of getting them. Now the Netherlands require game companies to obtain a license to introduce loot box mechanics in games. The UK is debating a law regulating microtransactions in the video game, like purchasing shoes, purchasing shields or swords or whatever. US Senator Josh Hawley has introduced a bill in the US to ban pay-to-win and loot box transaction. Now, if we talk about the contemporary scenario, how can we forget about the Blue Whale Challenge, which was reported to be an online suicide game aimed at teenagers, which set 50 tasks over 50 days. That means challenges versus that the teenagers started committing suicide in order to prove their point. Now, if we talk about 2019, a boy in Hyderabad hanged himself and died. The cause, of course, because of his mother scolded him for playing PUBG a lot. He did that. After that, the father of the victim was also saying that there should be a law regulating it or banning it even. In March, 2 men in their 20s playing the game on their phones near railway tracks in Maharashtra state were killed by an oncoming train. Now, that was something which made many cities in Gujarat ban the game. Young people across the state were arrested for violating the ban. In India, each state has the power to make its own betting and gambling laws. The second of 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution, it empowers the state government with the power to legislate on matters concerning gambling and betting. We have gambling and betting games online as well. So the Public Gambling Act of 1867 is the central enactment which has been adopted by some states in India. Important case to look at is Dr. R.K. Lakshmanan versus State of Tamil Nadu, where the Supreme Court has explicitly defined game of skill as one in which success depends principally upon the superior knowledge, training, attention, experience and adroitness of the player, like PUBG. Game of chance is one in which the element of chance predominates over the element of skill. That means gambling, basically. And similarly, a game of skill is one in which the element of skill predominates. It's the vice versa. So in India, there are only 2 state legislation which regulates online gaming, namely the Sikkim Online Gaming Act of 2008 and the Nagaland Prohibition of Gaming and Promotion and Regulation of Online Games of Skill Act 2016. The Indian startup ecosystem has decided to drop all pretenses of building a video game with some gambling elements and just focus on gambling instead, using regulatory arbitrage from a particular court case judgment. Gambling is actually outlawed in India on the federal level, but individual states can allow some forms of gambling. But broadly, court cases have ruled out games such as poker, teen patti, fantasy sports as games of skill. Rather, they are games of chance like roulette, slot machine, raffles, etc. Now, the basic dilemma is about either banning or regulating to what extent. Banning is not the complete answer to anything because many industries are dependent on it, revenues and employment is dependent on it. So, the debate of whether real-world gaming apps are game of skill or game of chance is splitting hairs. States like Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu have banned these games and online gambling in some form. More states like Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan are debating new laws to regulate the sector. There are many challenges. The biggest one is banning is such an extreme step because so many industries are dependent on it, so many revenues are dependent on it, and also gaming is a technology enabler. So only the moralistic narratives that we should ban this particular thing because of moral grounds for protecting children from harmful content aren't necessarily the best lens to frame rules. It also hurts industry because the video gaming industry revenues are not driven mostly through microtransactions. And developer microtransactions, that means small transactions that we make in the app by purchasing shoes or dresses for the characters, for purchasing any sort of weaponry, for loot boxes. And developers have an arsenal of tactics to implement them, like character customization. Tech-savvy growth, as I told you, that technology, it's an enabler of technology. Many industries are dependent on it. So it will also impact employment because Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause G of the Constitution of India says it allows people to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business. So people who are developers who work in this industry can challenge the ban. Okay. And the problem is illegitimate access as well. If anything is extremely harmful to the society. It's harming the society, desensitizing the youth in such a manner. After that, it might happen the entire crux of society is shattered. Then, of course, we can ban it. But people can also resort to some other means for getting illegitimate access. That happens a lot, specifically on very many social media platforms. Basically, regulation is the key. Anything can't be banned excessively, and we need all the stakeholders, the gaming federation, parents, academicians, scientists, the international best practices should also be seen before doing anything, even regulation. We have to check discrepancies. If there are occurring any discrepancy, that should be not open for exploitation. Screen time is something that we can all work upon as the first step towards regulation, like China has done, like Japan has done, when people are automatically, they are logged out of their gaming process. Awareness programs should be started specifically at school levels, community levels, and parental level as well. Supervision is important, specifically from the beginning. So let's look at the question. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced children indoors to spend more screen time with video games. What are the various challenges and the steps to tackle the challenges in the above scenario? We have to write it in 250 words. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.